In last week's episode of Content Catalyst, I shared with you 10 ways to promote your business online for free. And I also asked the question is that if there's all these ways to promote our business, why aren't we leveraging it? Why aren't we utilizing it to the best of our ability? Well, the number one thing that I hear from people, from business owners in Facebook groups and in the business groups that I'm part of is time. It comes down to time. And often underpinning the time is also the know how. So, what if you could produce high quality content at scale using AI? And what if it could save you 10 to 20 hours a week in your content creation process? Imagine cutting your video production time by 80%. Well, that is the potential with AI. And in this episode of Content Catalyst, I want to walk you through how to future proof your business using AI and video with your content marketing. So, one of the things that I hear from businesses, as I mentioned, is getting the confidence also to know how to use all the things because it can get really overwhelming. And especially if you're an online course creator, you're learning how to, use the tech, how to build a website. If you use Kajabi, for example, it's understanding how that works. It's a completely different thing to say WordPress if you've been used to that or never had to do any of that in your business before. And the reality is, when you are in business these days, marketing will be the most important thing in your business. But the reality is that it's often the thing that we do last. And I've been guilty of this. I am guilty of this. That's for sure. When my cup is overflowing, the last thing that will get recorded is this podcast. And I am now looking at ways on how I can switch that around so it becomes at the top of the tree and becomes an absolute priority, and everything else fits around it. And the reason why that's such an important part of my business is because I'm in a growth phase. And when I'm in a growth phase, I have to be top of mind. I have to be building my network. I have to be out there sharing what I do and how I help people to build my credibility and authority and build my business. So when I look at the importance of content marketing, I rank it really, really high as a tool for me to grow my business. So, where do a lot of people go and fall down with content marketing? Is that often people will spend a lot of time making, say, a video, and they've shared a reel on Instagram and they think, oh my God, I've spent all afternoon doing this, and you post it up and it doesn't get results. And when you spend a lot of time doing this kind of stuff, then you sit there and you think, I didn't get the results. Why would I spend and waste all this time doing it if I'm not seeing the return on my investment? So, the number one thing that I see is that people do not have a content marketing strategy. A content marketing strategy is one of the most important things that I would emphasize businesses have. What are they wanting to achieve in their business? What are their goals? So, I'm going to walk you through what a content marketing strategy should include and ways on how you can use video and AI to shortcut this workflow process. And number one is what I just mentioned before is goals. You've got to know your business goals and objectives. That is number one. And often I see people that, and this happens in like those Facebook groups, people go, I need a social media person and I need somebody that can do my blogs and emails. And the issue is they haven't got a content marketing strategy, but they've outsourced it to a VA in the Philippines without a strategy. And the problem is that yes, that VA might know how to put a Canva tile together and, run a generic blog through ChatGPT to get a blog out for blog's sake, but that has not connected with your audience because you haven't addressed the next point, and that is your ideal audience and their challenges and problems and pain points and how you transform that for them. Okay, so if you do have a content marketing strategy, then you can outsource it to your team, then you can outsource it to a VA. But if you're expecting them to know your business, then you are already going to be wasting time, their time and your money, by expecting them to be able to deliver what essentially is the first step. So if you were building a house, for example, the first thing you got to do is lay the slab. You can't put a frame up on the dirt on some grass, you've got to lay concrete, and that's the slab first. This is what I see a content marketing strategy being, and that's the slab of you building a house. So when we do that, we can then build the foundation of the framework, the roof, and the walls. So I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. So number one is knowing your business goals, because when you know your business goals, you know what resources that you need and who you're trying to serve. So we look at what is your core offer that you're wanting to promote. Then we look at your audience. We literally, it's like putting on their shoes. It's like wearing their clothes. You understand, what are they feeling? What are they thinking? What are they hoping for? What are their problems? What are their challenges? Then when we do that, we then look at what's our value? How do we help them? And then we can start to piece together that if they don't act, what happens? What is the transformation? What is the results? What are the outcomes? And I've put together a framework. It's called the Vivid Story exercise. And basically, it takes you through how to visualize the impact, the value, the implement, the impact when they do implement what you do, and then the desired result and transformation. So this is a really powerful exercise, because once you've done this, I refer back to mine all the time. So I want to create a landing page on my website to promote a product. I will refer back to this exercise, and I will pull out the keywords of what I need to say. And this brings me to the next point. So after goals and audience, you need to define and clarify your messaging. So when you understand the other two parts, you then have the opportunity to define your messaging of what you say. And this is probably one of the biggest things that if you aren't getting a result, and I do this, like I literally will put up a landing page and I'm like, why isn't it resonating? What am I doing? What have I missed out of that? Because it's really good to get another set of eyes on things as well. But you can also use AI to analyze your website. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to take you through that in a second. So I did this today. I'm doing some workshops over the next few months, in-person workshops. And I got my landing page out and it was live. And I didn't have a lot of time to get this particular workshop up. So it's on the 9th of July. So I only had a few weeks to get, make it live and make it happen and promote it and sell it out. And the issue was is that I also had a lot of other things happening at the time. So my cup was really full. But I always say done is better than perfect. Now, the thing is that now that it's live and it's up there and I'm like, okay, well, how can I make this better? What have I missed? Where is my messaging not hitting? And so it's a constant refinement. And I did an exercise in AI this morning where I was like, okay, analyze my website, find the, missing parts, and then I did another exercise of asking AI to give me what people are wanting. What are the transformations? So my messaging now, I can go back in, fine tune my landing page. I can fine tune my social media. I can fine tune my promotional material that I'm using with it. But this is a constant refinement. So often, like I said, you'll just get it done and that's cool. But if it's not resonating and you're not getting the results that you want, then it's a matter of going in and refining that messaging. And then that brings me to the next point is keywords. A content marketing strategy needs to have your keywords identified, because these are the things that people are searching. And when you are using that in your website, social media, blogs, podcasts, wherever you are promoting that particular thing, your keywords are so important because that's to do with your discoverability. The next thing that a content marketing strategy should include is an audit on your current activities. Now, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. And that's why I said to you, I've audited my website, this morning going, okay, what do I need to fine tune? What do I need to update? And something that, like I did my website 6 months ago for Content Catalyst, I now need to go back in and update everything on the membership and go, well, now my members have actually given me feedback of the value that they've gotten. I can then fine tune that using their language of what they've told me that they've gotten results with. So auditing whatever you're doing And seeing that trend will help you understand what's working and where your holes are. And that's not to say that if you're not getting results on LinkedIn, for example, that you should not do LinkedIn. It's about going, what am I posting on LinkedIn? Is it content designed for TikTok or is it designed for Instagram? And if you are trying to grow on LinkedIn, then you need to think about who is the audience on there and what is the message that you're sharing there. So it's not a matter of it's not working, therefore I'm not going to do it. It's that, do I have the right product? Do I have the right, again, message on those platforms? Then we look at the formats that we're using, which leads me into the next one of going, where are your audience hanging out? Because, if I think about your audience on LinkedIn, they're in business mode. So the message, the time of day when they're going to be checking that is going to be different to, say, Instagram. Instagram for me, like I can put a story up and, you know, conversation, it's unscripted and everything else, where it's going to be very different for me when I get onto, LinkedIn. And this is where we look at each platform has their nuances and features. And if you are using each of those platforms' nuances and features, then it will also help with the impact and the results that you get from each one of them as well. So once we look at your formats that are available, you might be a writer. And if you love writing, then you do you, boo, right? It's like I do video. So I do a lot of video, and in all of my content, I'm always thinking, how can I leverage video? And I still love writing. And that's why whenever you read my blogs, you'll always see that even though I use AI as my assistant, I'll always go in and have that conversation and reword everything to be my tone. Um, so that, leads me back to then your vibe, your brand. What makes you you? What makes you uniquely you? And I covered this inside Content Catalyst membership last month, where we spoke about our personal brand. Our personal brand is us, and it's the quickest way to fast track the buyer journey if you show up as you and your personal brand is up front, because people buy from people. And when they know you, and when other people know you, it makes it easier for that person to consider you and consider your product and to say, yes, I'm going to buy. So if we look at your brand, your vibe, and this can be an evolution as well. When I started my business a year ago, which is what I'm doing now, it took me a while to understand what was I offering, who was my customer. I actually thought my customer was, this audience, but it ended up being this audience. And so I've had to modify everything as I've gone along. And then I look at, who am I? Like, what makes me different? Because if you go on to Instagram or whatever platform, there's, millions of marketers, there are millions of content creators, there's a million people telling you, how to use content marketing or social media or video or whatever. So why would you opt to deal with me instead? And I guess that's where I'm learning to lean into what makes me uniquely me, and highlighting that, like, what are my quirks? Because when I work on my uniqueness, what's my style, what's my tone, what's my vibe, that's when you'll connect with me. And that's when you'll know that I'm being authentically me. Because I think in the world of AI, on the other side of things, there is going to be a massive change with faceless content, and faceless content, sure, have its place, but at the end of the day, it's not going to replace that human touch and that human connection. So when we look at our vibe, it's easy when, especially when you see other people on social media doing similar things to you, or just, somebody who you admire. It could be an influencer that you admire and you think, I've got to do it like them. So when you think about, no, 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 bring it back. What makes me unique? What's my vibe? Because often the thing that you think is a flaw is actually your advantage and makes you memorable and makes a heartfelt connection with somebody. And I guess this is what I am evolving with now as well, is that when I do more humorous skits and lean into my quirky, funny side, that's what seems to be resonating with people. So I'm going to explore that a lot more. Like I've always got a lot of ideas that spin in my head, but I haven't always had, and again, the time to execute that. So now I'm looking at using AI to shortcut a whole lot of that other process and allocating specific time so I can do more video content that leans into, what I love doing, and that's educating, and I guess that educating in an entertaining way. So, because you know what? Life is so serious. And I just think, it should be a bit more fun and humorous and entertaining and real. Real, and like I love wearing my brand colors whenever I do show up on video. However, my vibe, my brand is also about removing the barriers for people to turn up on video. So therefore, you will often see me like on Instagram, for example, where most of the time I've got a hat on and my active wear and no makeup. And that again is part of my brand because I want you to feel empowered that you too can turn up as you are and not use it as an excuse to go, I haven't washed my hair and put my makeup on. And, you know, when I do my content days, like today, I've recorded, podcasts and been a guest on podcasts. So it is, get my hair washed and do my, makeup and dress up. But that is also for me as well, because I know that looking my best makes me feel my best. It brings my energy up. The next thing that you need in a content marketing strategy to consider is your workflow. Because, and this is probably the biggest thing that AI has been able to save us so much time on. I look at how much using AI can save me when I create one video podcast like I am now, and I can repurpose this 15 different ways. And what would take 20 hours to do, sometimes a week for, people to do it if they were outsourcing, can be done in hours, like in an afternoon now. So the next thing is knowing your resources as well, because like I said, for me, I'm really leaning into my content marketing creation at the moment, and I'm going to dedicate a day, one day a week, just to content creation. You think, God, that's a lot. I don't have that kind of time. Well, the reality is, business is tough at the moment, and if I don't lean in and do it, I am not going to grow to the state that I want to, the place that I want to. And it's really about, I have this saying, it's like, it's not who has the best product, it's who talks the loudest. So I want to be out there giving the best product, but I also want to be telling people about it. And that's when I'm looking at my resources. I'm like, where is my time best spent? Instead of spending, and this is the other thing that I'm reviewing as well, of going, instead of me spending 3 hours where I might record a reel, and I would not do that, but I have been known to do that, especially if I'm experimenting with a new editing, bells and whistles, or I've got an idea that I want to bring to life. I could easily spend 3 hours doing that. So instead of doing that, I'm concentrating on my hero long form content, which is what I'm doing now, this long form video, which will go to my podcast. And then from that one video, I'm able to repurpose it and distribute it across different platforms. So this is where I'm looking at, this is where I am going to now put more effort and resources into that rather than that. The next thing that should be in a content marketing strategy is your planning calendar. So we've spoken about the the what. Now we look at the how. So the how is your plan, your how is your calendar. So I know, for example, inside Content Catalyst this month, we're talking about your content library, how to repurpose content, how to capture B-roll content, how to remix and refresh content. And so for that, I know my hero topic for the month. So when I know my hero topic for the month, I know that I want to aim to do four podcasts for the month. That's one a week. And so I need four main topics. So those four main topics, I'm going to research them to see what, and I know loosely what they are, but I'm going to research them to see what people want to know. And then when I do that, I then am able to create all of my other content, but that will then give me all of my month's worth of content with the same overarching thing, and it just gets amplified and told in different ways. So that's what my calendar does. And then the distribution. So if you don't have time, I'm going to go back to learn how to do live streaming better. And you think, oh no, I hate lives. Good, lean into it. Because if you don't have time, doing live streams is the quickest and most efficient way for you to shortcut your content creation process and make an impact with your audience. You'll see that if I've had a really busy week and I haven't recorded reels or shared reels or anything, you'll see me turn up a lot in stories and in Instagram, and you'll also see me turn up on lives a lot as well, because I know I don't have to edit. I can if I want to repurpose it later, but I'll do a live video because then it's press record, tell my message, done, move on. Distribution. So if you are going to create all this content, you want a scheduler to be able to push it out. You want to automate a lot of whatever you can. So I use Vista Social. I think it's got, I don't know, 17 different platforms that I can share content out to. So Vista Social, I can share with Google Business, I can share TikTok, I can share Pinterest, and all the usual suspects, LinkedIn, Facebook, yada yada. So get a good scheduler so you can, and that's again, that's the outsourced job, right? And then the final thing that your content marketing strategy needs to have is metrics. So you can implement all of this stuff, but if you're not measuring it, and I know myself, like I looked at my metrics from the last year, end of financial year, and I sat down and I looked at it and I went, okay, that's grown, but that hasn't. And what I haven't focused on has not grown. And then I go back through like my lead magnets, my opt-ins on my website, for example, and I can go, okay, well, that worked, but that one hasn't. And then I go, was it the actual lead magnet or was it the title? Where did I promote it? So it's not just like that didn't work, it's why didn't it work? And if you look at like, any big content creator that's got a team working for them, they will test, they will A/B test. Like if I look at Diary of a CEO, they test 100 thumbnails for their podcast for YouTube, like 100. And as they're recording, Steve Bartlett has got a system now where he taps the mechanism under his desk, and they're like the sound bites. So then his team off, and this is what AI can do, is that they will go off and they will test as it's getting recorded. It's next level. It really is. So that's a content marketing strategy. So now let's look at how can AI help you with your process. And if I think about, saving 10 to 20 hours a week, what does that look like? How does that happen? All right. So first of all, the most important thing, as I mentioned before, is keywords research. A lot of people just make content for the sake of making content. And if you go back to one of my reels on Instagram the other day, it was like, yeah, I'm going to record a podcast. Yay, fantastic. And then you sit there and you go, now what am I going to talk about? And it's like, because we haven't researched what are our content categories tailored for our business. Don't tell me that they're educational and inspirational. That's the angle, that's the approach of what you're taking. You have to look at what are people looking up. Okay, so we've got to research. We've got to know, and we can do all of this in AI. Now, I use a program called Perplexity AI. I use the pro version, which enables me to tap into ChatGPT, Claude, and all the other open AIs, and it scans live websites and site sources as well. So when I compare it to ChatGPT, information I put in Perplexity versus Chat, it's next level. And I also get Chat in the pro version of Perplexity. So check it out, because it blows my mind of what it can do. I was in a AI masterclass the other day, and one of the people presenting was going, and you need this other program, and then you need this program, and then you need this program. And I'm like, no, I don't. I can actually just put it all through Perplexity and it'll give me that and more. So let's look at AI. Here's how it can save you time. Research, keywords. I can look up what people are looking up and searching in Google. And Google, again, is your biggest search engine, and it'll also scan YouTube as well. So it'll pull out that latest information. So that's number one. I understand their problems. I can then research hooks and titles. What is a hook? It's the first 3 seconds of your videos. Titles are your headlines and your subject lines for your emails, your blogs, and all the things. So they're the attention getting aspects that you need to nail when you are creating content. That's number one. That's the most people. If you're jumping on your videos on social media going, hey guys, I thought I'd just jump on, please stop. Stop wasting valuable time. Stop wasting those first 3 seconds doing that. You don't need to tell us you're just jumping on. Just jump on and tell us what you've got why I need to stop and listen to you. Just jump in. Okay, so hooks, titles, start with if you're starting to make video right now, then I just go and think about that as your first step. Nail your hooks. Okay, the next part is understanding my audience's problems. This is again, I ask Perplexity, I'm like, please let me know what are the issues or problems, challenges that this person to be facing. I can articulate my value, and I just mentioned this before. I went into one of my offers, and I went, I need to make sure that I am getting my message across, because sometimes we just get in the zone of, I've just got to get a landing page done. I've just got to get my offer out. And we don't take the time to then go back and review it and go, is it working? And that's from me. I'm the expert in this, and I still miss the mark on this. And that's because when you're so close to it, it's hard to read the label from inside the jam jar. So that's why it's really good to have another set of eyes on things to go, actually, you've missed that, or you've missed that. And so when you don't have a proofreader sitting beside you all the time, Perplexity is the next best thing. So the gaps of what I'm saying. Now we come to recording. So for example, I'm actually recording this in StreamYard, and I play with all the tech out there when it comes to creating video, and I've used Riverside and Descript and all the things, right? So I'm using StreamYard. I'm loving StreamYard because I'm trying to cut down on all my subscriptions. I have too many. And I want to be able to have multi-use with things. And why I like StreamYard is because I can stream to all of those platforms and just press the record and walk away afterwards. Or I can repurpose that content and download it and do everything else that I would do with a normal video podcast, as in repurpose. Also, I record my video podcasts in here because, again, this is why a lot of these programs have made all these updates. So in StreamYard, I can record, I can get my audio, my video, I can edit inside the app now, which I think is really cool. And it'll also create short snippets of clips. Is it the best? Not necessarily. But if you are starting out, I think this is a great program to be a one and done, but be able to reach so many people in an easy, and it's very user friendly. Like if you've not used StreamYard, get in and have a look, because it is really user friendly. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, by the way. It's just I play with a lot of things, and it has to be intuitive and user friendly. So straight away, right there, I can get my transcription out. It records and gives me audio. Once I go through and I use Premiere Pro to edit, I can then take the transcription over to Chat GPT, not to Chat, I use Perplexity, and I upload the transcription, and from there it'll give me chapters, timestamps, show notes, blog outline, email outline. Look, I use it as an assistant. I'm never just going to copy and paste a blog into my page of what it spits out, because it's got to have my personal stamp on it. But let me tell you, if you suffer from writer's block, it is the best thing. And this is what I find really helpful. So it'll transcribe, it will repurpose. So I can take that one transcription and I can repurpose content across all the different platforms. Then I can ask it to write me social media calendar for the month. I can ask it to write the captions. I can ask it to write me whatever ideas that I want it to do. I can ask it to make a video script for me. It's amazing at researching. So this is where and how it can save you so much time. I asked Perplexity I said, as a business owner, how can I leverage the API access features of Perplexity? Um, and it's given me all these things. So, customer support chatbot, content generation, data analysis, personal recommendations, email marketing automation, document processing, market research tool, voice assistant integration. So I can actually develop a voice activated assistant for my business, automated scheduling and SEO optimization. So these are some of the ways that these programs are just making our life so much easier. Now, the thing about any kind of tech that I see people is overwhelm. So it's so easy to just go down a rabbit hole, and I have to pull myself out of it often at the moment. So, how do you not get overwhelmed with this? Start with the basics. What is the thing that's going to move the needle the most? Number one, do you have a strategy and a plan? If you do that, then you need to know your shortcuts on how you can optimize your time to make a hero video and be able to repurpose that. Then, when you have that, you can then utilize all the tools that I have shared with you today to be able to do it yourself in a much more short amount of time, or outsource it confidently, knowing that it's on point with your goals for your business and your audience and the value that you offer. Okay. So, this is where you have the opportunity to do that. I do recommend. I used ChatGPT 3 when it was first introduced. I used the free version forever. And when I got told about Perplexity AI and somebody said you'll get ChatGPT 4 when you get the pro version, I went in after playing with it for ages and upgraded. And it's been the best thing because I use it as an assistant all the time. It's just there's so many things. When you use AI and video together, here's how it will help future proof your business. When I go into Perplexity, it scans live websites across the internet and gives me the information. Now, the first thing that it'll bring up are videos. This is why creating good quality videos that are researched for problems and that are evergreen for problems, evergreen meaning that they're there, they're going to stick around for a while of what people are searching up. There are going to be trending topics, but think about the problems that you solve that are optimized with keywords. You will come up first in the search engine for Google. But when I go into Perplexity, it shows me whatever question I'm asking, it'll bring up video. It will refer to a video. It will also refer to blogs and images. So, this is why, whatever you're doing, if you can concentrate on optimizing your website with blogs, with highly optimized keywords and videos not just on your website, also on your social media. If you go into Google right now, okay, and type in something, how Google is bringing up information, like I'm just going to type in microphones. Okay, so what it will bring up, it'll bring up sponsored, number one, and it'll bring up shopping, depending on the topic that you type in, of course, but things like microphone, for example, it's going to bring up all the people that have paid to Google Shopping. Then it'll have the sponsored ads. Then it will give me videos. Now, if you have created content that people are searching up, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, uh, whatever, this is where it's going to come up. So the internet is being scraped of information to serve up to you on a platter based on what people are searching for. And if you are using AI, you will shortcut your workflow. You will save yourself so much time, but you'll also get so much more concentrated with your efforts to become a lot more precise in people's problems. Okay. So when you understand that, you will find that you won't have page 1, page 2, page 3 of Google anymore. It'll just be one page that you'll scroll down to. And whoever is using video in their business the most across your platforms, that's where you will rank higher. So your ranking is what's so important, and that's why your website is all roads lead to Rome. And I spoke about this in my previous podcast episodes, where your personal brand and your business brand, you need to go to all of your platforms. I don't care whether you never use TikTok. Go and claim your business name, your personal name on all of those platforms. Update your bio, and then lead back to your website, because it will help with your ranking, with your credibility, and position your authority. Video, um, look, it is one of the most daunting things for a lot of people that start out, and you got to get cringy. You just got to push through it. Get some training, get some coaching. This is why I do this for my Content Catalyst members, is that every month we don't just do a one-off editing session. It's every month we're looking at editing. Every month I'm incorporating AI into our sessions. Moving forward, every single thing that we do is all about how can we leverage AI and video into everything that we do. Content marketing is about sharing what you do that's relevant to people's needs. And when you do that and you share relevant information to people who are your target audience, this is when you will make a bigger impact over your competitors. Because when it comes to them actually needing what you have to offer, if you're top of mind and you're relevant to them, and you create content that connects with them, and they feel heard and they see you, they feel seen by you. And when it comes to video, showing your face will always be my preference. I know there's a lot of talk at the moment of doing faceless videos and things, but if you have a personal brand and you want to create connection and community, then showing up and sharing what you do and having conversations online is still one of the most powerful things, apart from standing in front of somebody. Get a content marketing strategy. If you don't have one, I am doing an in-person workshop on the 9th of July here in the Hunter Valley. And then after that, I'll be doing a series of webinars. Go and check out Perplexity AI, because it is such a powerful tool. Video and AI is the way of the future for businesses. And that's what I love. It has already saved us so much time. And I think about how long it used to take us to do what we can do in, hours, not days now. It's such a huge benefit for the small business owners when we are short on time. So lean into it, embrace it. You can do it. You got this. Until the next episode, thanks for tuning in. Bye.